Today was a beautiful end of winter day, and me and my friend Ernie Crast Cabot, we decided to take a trip to the coast to Salem, Massachusetts. Now, we had gone to Salem, Massachusetts because we needed some herbs, some cedar, and other herbs because we are having a drumming circle for the spring equinox. And as you can see, Salem was empty on this awesome day. So usually when I go to Salem, I like to look around. I really don't purchase much in Salem. And we were just about heading home when we decided to stop in one last store, and I'm happy I did. Now, before we hit that little shop, we had entered into a Tibetan store, and I found a Siberian shamanic melon Toli mirror, which I fell in love with. I had it in my hand. It was brass. It was antique. And just as I was going to pay for it, I told the lady no, because something in my head said, no, Luis, don't buy this yet. Wait a moment. Just don't buy it. So I was feeling a little down, and we entered into one last store. And there in this old forgotten corner, witchy antique shop, my eyes gazed upon the piece of resistance, the holy grail of anything I could have ever imagined to have found in Salem, Massachusetts. A miniature wooden replica of a Taino duo. I swear to God, my heart raced that moment. And I felt like Ralphie from A Christmas Story when he held the official Red Ryder Carbon Action 200 shot range model air rifle for Christmas. So I quickly brought it to the register to pay for it, and the shopkeeper looked at me. He said, "Oh, you like Taino artifact?" I said, "Oh, yes, I do." He goes, "I think I have 3 more pieces. Would you like to check them out?" I'm like, duh. So he takes me around this winding, old, witchy antique shop, and he shows me the other Taino Cemi pieces that he had. And I swear to God, I felt like Charlie from the Chocolate Factory, when he got the golden ticket. And I'm sorry that I'm saying movie quotes, but this is how I literally felt. I felt like I was Harry Potter when he found his wand in Diagon Alley. So he told me that these pieces had been in his shop since the late 1970s, early 1980s. No one had ever batted an eye to them. And he said that he obtained one piece, the duo, from Puerto Rico, and the other 3 pieces, the Bayamanacos, he obtained those in the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. So I purchased every piece. I was so happy. I was so elated, in excitement. And we headed home, me and Ernie headed home, and I stopped in a corner and I brought some candy. I left some coins in gratitude, a little tobacco to the spirits, because I feel that the spirits brought me to these Cemi, and I was just so happy, so thankful. And so now I just headed home. So here I am. I finally get home. I'm packaging all my goods, my, my pirate bounty or booty. Just feeling so excited that I had found these Cemis. Now, mind you, I had gone to the store many times, to this antique shop. I had never seen them before, ever in my life. And I don't know how I had ever not seen them before, but here they are. I finally have them home. I'm unpacking. These are the Bayamanacos. You can see they are super dusty from all the years they were in that chest or wherever they were. So I'm opening them up. This is the 3rd one. I bought 3 Bayamanacos. I just couldn't walk away with one. And these are from Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. So those are the ones that I bought from Santo Domingo. This piece right here is from my island, mi isla, de Borinquen, de Puerto Rico. And this is the replica of the Taino duo, a seat that was used by the cacique chieftain of Puerto Rico. So here they are, the 3 Bayamanacos that I purchased. As you can see, they are super dusty. This is the duo, the replica of the duo. And so I decided to physically cleanse them from all the dust and grind, from all the year of buildup. So I used Agua Florida and my own Bayram preparado, prepared Bayram to get as much of the dust and physical grind and dirt from all the years that they were in that cabinet. I wanted to purify them and just remove any unwanted energy from the shop. I mean, the shop doesn't have bad vibrations, but of course, I want to remove all that dirt and grind and give them a nice cleaning. So here is the replica of El Dúo or Dujo. It is a replica of a wooden seat that the cacique chief in Puerto Rico, Borinquen, Quisqueya, Haiti, the chief would sit in. This represents an animal spirit, right? It represents either a turtle or a tortoise. And only the cacique chief was allowed to sit on these. They were used during aretos. Aretos are like gatherings or powwows, ceremonies, and also in ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies where the cacique or the beike would be the shaman, the curandero, the brujo would consult with the Cemi or the spirits. Taino spirituality, or what we call today in modern day Seminismo, was a very shamanic spiritual tradition, and it was based on animism. Everything had a spirit, everything had a soul, everything had an energy. The Taino had and still have a very complex spiritual tradition. They believe in God, they believe in nature spirits and ancestor spirits, a connection with ancestor spirits and elemental spirits. But they also had, like other Native American cultures and cultures in Siberia and Mongolia, and they also believed in animal spirit guides. In fact, many of the Yukayeke or clans were known as, like, they had the clan of the bat, the clan of the iguana, the clan of caguana, the turtle, the sea turtle, the bat, and so on and so forth. So not only did the duo serve as the throne where the cacique chieftain sat during areitos, festivities, ceremonies, ball games, and political debates, but it also served as a portal, an axis mundi into the spirit realm. So the duo served much the same function as the totem poles of the Native American tribes of northern America, and was viewed as the embodiment of a sacred being and an animal spirit guide. So the duo can represent a caguana, a sea turtle, and the caguana is viewed very sacred to the Taino as it resides in the sea, which is viewed as one of the many entranceways into the world of spirit, but it also lays its eggs on the shore, which represents rebirth and reincarnation. This to the Taino symbolized that the caguana had a fin in the world of the living and a fin in the world of spirit. The duo throne also served a very important role in one of the Taino's most sacred rites, the rite of the cojoba, in which the cacique chief or the beike shaman or boitu would travel between the three worlds or the three realms. The upper world known as Turei, the lower world known as Coabe, and here the middle world known as Gois. There, the shaman or the cacique or the beike would be able to interact with the Cemi spirits and the Opia ancestors. Now, before I can go into a brief discussion on the rite of the Cooba, I have to first go into what is a Cemi or Cemise spirit. Many think that they can go online on eBay, Amazon, or Etsy, or do like I did and go into a witchy antique shop and purchase these artifacts and have a breathing, living entity or sacred being in their hands, when in actuality all they have is a hollow, lifeless kwe. which means it's a representation of a sacred object or artifact. Now, what you see here are three kwe, or representations of a sacred item or artifact of a Cemi spirit known as Bayamanaku. So what is a Cemi? Well, according to the author of Caciques and Cemi Idols, Jose R. Oliver, Cemi is what animates and confers vital essence, spiritual energy, or potency into the magical kwe, wooden or stone idols. So Cemi does not refer to an artifact or a physical object, but to an immaterial numinous life or vital force. Cemi is a condition of being. It is a numinous power, a driving vital force that compels action. It is a power to cause, to affect, and also denotes a condition or state of being. Cemi has similar roots in the Arawak word semehi, which means either sacred medicine or something that tastes, smells, and feels sweet. To the Lokono Arawak, the word shemishishi meant shaman, medicine person, or curandero. And so the root word seme means sweet or honey, sweet herbal medicine that heals and makes life tolerable in this unforgiving world. So the kwe sacred objects, or semi, if the fetish is properly awoken, serves as a portal between the linear physical world and the spiritual, non-linear psychic world of the spirit. The rite of the kohoba or the kohiba is a very powerful, spiritual, sacred, and religious ceremony amongst the various Yucayeke and Taino tribes of the Caribbean. The cacique or beike would sit on the duo to inhale and snuff cojoba. A mixture of cojoba and tobacco was smoked or inhaled to induce a psychedelic trance to achieve communication with the opia, spirits of the dead and ancestors, have a dialogue or vision quest with the divine Cemi spirits, or to drive away lost, hungry spirits known as maboya that attach themselves like astral larvae to a person, place, or a thing. I was born in a small town in New England, but in my blood runs the blood of my ancestors. I'm so far away from Boriquín or Borinquen, what is now known as Puerto Rico. But there's a saying from my people, yo sería boricuano, boricua, aunque naciera en la luna. I'm a triracial man, a descendant of 3 races. But the one that screams the loudest is that I am Boricuano or Boricua. I am known by many as a brujo, a mediunidad, an espiritista, a sancista, and also I am a beike. Now all these man-made titles mean nothing if you do not breathe, eat, sleep, dream that which you were born and destined to be. Also, I didn't choose any of these titles for myself. El Brujito was a nickname my family gave to me when I was a child, and the rest I accumulated from ceremonies and respect from my peers. Now, if you know me, well, you know that I am not really a religious person per se, but more spiritual. Espiritismo has always been the foundation of all I do spiritually, and Seminismo, or Semiism, or the indigenous Caribbean spirituality from the first people of the Greater Antilles, is the temple I build upon that foundation. Now, what you see me doing here is I'm taking those statues that I purchased at an witchy antique shop in Salem, Massachusetts, and I'm blessing them, I'm baptizing them with the energies of agua dulce, taimani, divine fluidic energy. I believe in the act of sacred reciprocity. I ask something of you, and in return, I give back to you. In this case, I'm asking the spirit of agua dulce, the spirits of the sweet water, el indio de agua, to bless my statues, and in return, I give an offering to the spirits. So here in my hand, what you see is a mapacho. A mapacho from South America, from Peru. This is known as Nicotina rustica, and it is a pure tobacco with no harsh chemicals. It is just pure tobacco. You see that I'm facing the statues so that they face the sun. They receive the blessings, the corrientes, the luz of Padre Sol. Y bendito es la hostia, bendito es el altar, y bendito es este puro que me voy a fumar. I'm lighting up el tabaco, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate it to the four directions, and then I'm going to also dedicate it or blow some of this nicotina rustica or this mapacho to each and every one of the Cemi. I'm cleansing them, I'm purifying them, and as I blow the tobacco on the statues, I'm blowing into it my energy, my essence, my desires, my wishes, and what I want these statues to represent for me. Tobacco was sacred to all indigenous people of Turtle Island, Serpent Island, and Heart Island. In fact, tobacco was one of the first sacred herbs given to Christopher Columbus when he came and traveled into the Caribbean. So tobacco was sacred. Here I am giving to the tree spirit, and then I place it as an offering, making sure that I extinguish it before I leave the land. The story of Bayamanaco and Tenivan Karakaracol. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, somewhere in what today is the Caribbean, there were four brothers. They were quadruplets. Now in the Taino cosmology, they are the spirits of the four directions, the four sacred winds. These quadruplets were the children of the ancient bleeding grandmother Itiba Kahubaba, the Cemi of the earth. Now one of the quadruplets, Temivan Karakaracol, was afflicted with an unpleasant condition that made his skin all scabby and itchy. As such, he was covered in wounds and scabs. One day, the four brothers waited for the creator spirit of the universe, Yaya, to leave his boyhood, his hut, to tend to his sacred Kanuko garden. The four brothers entered Yaya's boyhood, driven by hunger, mischief, and curiosity. Tenivan Karakaracol, being the bravest of the four, but also the clumsiest, accidentally dropped a higuera gourd that hung on rafters off of the roof thatching. Within the higuera gourd was once the bones of Yayael, the son of Yaya, but after some time the bones had transformed into salt water and all the sea creatures. But the higuera gourd was very magical and carried more water than it could possibly contain. When the brothers dropped this magical higuera gourd, it broke, and the colossal amount of water that exploded from within it quickly flooded the land, filling the dry earth with the Caribbean Sea, and all the sea creatures that live within it. Thus the sea was created. Temivan Caracol and his three brothers ran from Yaya's bohío in fear of what they had just done. Wandering aimlessly, they eventually tumbled on the Kane hut of their grandfather, the Cemi known as Bayamanako, the wise spirit of fire. Hidden from Bayamanako's view, they saw that Bayamanako was by the fire making cassave bread, smoking tobacco, and preparing the sacred ritual of the cahoba. Hungry as they were, they finally became brave enough to approach Bayamanako, and the four asked Bayamanako for food. He looked upon the four brothers and invited them into his Kane hut. Bayamanako was kind to his four grandchildren and told the four brothers the story of their mother, Itiba Kahubaba, the ancient bleeding mother who had died giving birth to the quadruplets. But Temivan Caracol, being the mischievous of the four, insulted Bayamanako by trying to steal some cassave bread, fire, tobacco, and cohoba. Bayamanako, in a fit of fury, put his hand on one of his nostrils and shot a wad of guanguayo on Temivan Caracol. Now this guanguayo was a mix of cohoba seeds, magical herbs, powders, and tobacco. The guanguayo landed on Temivan Caracol's back, on top of his rash, and began to grow into a tumor that caused him great pain. From this tumor, a large blister emerged and wouldn't stop growing, and the three brothers thought Temivan Caracol would die. Not knowing what else to do, they tried to cut the blister open with a knife, but the knife was blunt and couldn't cut through the skin. So they grabbed an axe and cut the blister open with force. And when the blister opened, the Caguana sea turtle emerged from the wound. The Caguana sea turtle then entered the sea that the four brothers created earlier, and would eventually grow and become the continent of America. From this spit and herbs, Caguana was born. Caguana was the progenitor of the Taino people, the most ancient of all ancestors. Oración ayucau, guaquia baba, ureitoca, guamique, guamicarayagüe, guarico, guaquia, Taino Taino, bomatum, música, guaquia, ajeca sabia, huracán guaboya guabia, yukiuyan semina boria daca, anhan gatu. Nuestro Padre en el cielo estás, Señor de la tierra y el agua, Señor de la luna y el sol. Ven a nosotros como espíritus buenos, alto, grande y generoso. Darnos a nosotros las lluvias, las matas y el pan. Espíritus malos no, fantasmas no. Espíritus buenos sí, de Dios siervo yo seré. Así será. Oración a Madre Atabe. Bibi Atabe, Ante Itabo era Oiba Mamona. Aturo Ayagua Guía Itiba Cahuibaba. Acona Guaquia Guaca. Y el Mao Guaquia, Gualí, Guaquia Yari, música Guaquia, Queta Uri, Inaru Madruna, música Guaquia, Ajia Fajle, Taiku Uya Naboya Daka, Han Han Atu. Oh Madre Atabe, gran Atabeira y hermano Guacar, Papito Simaco, Madre de Dios, Madre del cielo y la luna, Madre de las aguas, Señora Madre de la antigua Señora y sangrando y gran bisabuela de los cuatricillos, escucha tu sagrada raza y protege a nuestros niños, que son nuestras joyas más preciosas, y cantan como los coquis. Darnos vida, mujer sagrada y generosa, darnos tu bendición. Oh gran espíritu sabia, pura, bondadosa y buena, yo soy tu siervo, y así sea y así será por toda